Welcome back to another episode of Jason's Bricks in 5, where I discuss LEGO content in videos of around 5 minutes. Time for yet another LEGO Oswald vignette update. We're getting close to the end. I think there's actually only going to be 2 more videos after this. So if you really love the Oswald, well, you better get your fix in now. And if you're sick of it, it'll be over soon enough. Anyways, I have 2 more vignettes. And for those of you that may be new, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit was one of Walt Disney's first major cartoon characters that was a star prior to Mickey Mouse. So they made cartoons in 1927 and 28 before the distributor took the rights away from him. And then the character was not part of the Disney family until the early 2000s. And he came back. And so last year when they brought out the Disney 100 series of collectible minifigures, or CMFs, Oswald was one of the characters, and I was excited to see him featured because I thought that was a really neat thing that, not many people know who he is, but they were willing to do that just to kind of preserve that history. So what I have endeavored to do is create one of these 8x8 vignettes or habitats, whichever you prefer, of one scene from each of the original 27 cartoons they made in 1927 and 28. And so here we have 2 from 1928. We have Bright Lights, which is the one here in white, and then we have High Up. We'll start with Bright Lights. Now this is a cartoon that starts with showing a theater, and there's like a show with a dancing girl and stuff that is Hortensia, or who would later become Hortensia, the character. And so it's got some things there. And then Oswald is trying to figure out a way to get in to the show to see it because he's in love with this character. And there's a part where he's, by the poster. Then he sees important people getting in the backstage entrance, and so he tries to sneak in that way. Ultimately, he does get in, but then he ends up needing to hide because they're chasing him. And then he has a problem because he's hiding in the box where there's the lions, and then there's lions, and then kind of all kinds of problems break loose. And I actually had thought about doing a different scene with the lion, but I ended up going with this scene, and I ended up needing to have the bouncer at the door. So I ended up creating a figure out of a video figure's head and then a couple other parts. And I created a little bit of an entryway here, so you can see it's a little bit thicker, and just to kind of create a little bit of depth in that, to make it look like there's kind of a hallway there. And so we've got the lights up there. So in the cartoon, there is a poster of Millie Zulu, but it's actually around the corner, and there's a little bit on that. But I wanted to incorporate that, so I took a little bit of liberty and decorated a tile, actually drew that on there and placed that so that it would represent that part from the cartoon. Something now, people aren't going to really know, but I like it. I think it looks good. And so there you have Bright Lights. Now the other one, this is High Up. Now this is a cartoon set in the circus, and you may recall we had the other one, Hot Dog, where he's outside of a circus and basically gets caught trying to steal a hot dog. This one, I tried to stay away from doing the red and white tent striping, but ultimately I went back to it because that kind of signifies a circus to me in my mind, and that's really the key in this one. So anyways, in this cartoon, he is part of the circus, and at the beginning he's kind of helping. It's kind of funny because they have some of the kind of standard circus acts, you might say. So there's the person, the strong man lifting the weights, and some other things, and there's some gags around that, and you see Oswald there, but then later you see Hortensia is there, and you can see Pete is the one running the circus. And anyways, he gets Oswald up on the high wire, and Oswald is trying to impress Hortensia. Anyways, she ends up tossing an ice cream cone up to him, and he tries to grab it, which he doesn't, and it falls down on Pete. Irregardless, that's the scene I've tried to create here. So I wanted to try to create the sense of him being high up in the air and have that platform, but I'm limited by the height and the size of this. So I ended up creating a small platform. This ladder worked really well. I knew if I had this up here, I didn't want it to just have open space at the bottom. So I went ahead and created kind of a grandstand here, and I stacked those full of those micro figures to kind of give that effect of him being high up in the air. And I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks pretty good. It looks like he's trying to grab that ice cream cone. So overall, I think it's turned out pretty well. Now, on the tightrope, I wasn't sure how I was going to do that. I ended up just taking a headlight brick and sticking it under here and sticking a bar piece coming out of there. And I think it works well. And then the next thing was how I was going to try to attach him. And so I ended up using a clip that's the same color as the bar. And it's got a stud that's attached to the back of his leg. So it's kind of hidden. I think it works pretty well. So that is our review of the 2 vignettes for Bright Lights and High Up. Let me know, what do you think? Do you like the use of the micro figures down there for the audience? Is there something else I could have done? And, I guess maybe does it bother you if, people deface their Lego and draw on them, write titles or draw pictures of posters? If it does, I apologize, because that's what I've done here. But anyways, that's going to do it for a review of these 2 vignettes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on another episode of Jason's Bricks and 5. Happy building!